Just kidding. I was already unmuted. Welcome to Mondays with Max. Oh yeah, what I was saying. It's not Monday. It's Friday. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Friday. It is good that it's Friday. Just heading into the weekend. Good to see you all. Wow, what a day. What a day in the markets today. Crazy. Well, hang on a second while I go through the roll call, because thank you guys all for being here. All 29 of you. Appreciate it. That's amazing. I wasn't sure how many people I was going to get tonight because of this not being my regular time. But Kyle Rosa, Toxic Miner, Duke Nukem, Gordon Murray, Nick Riley, Dom G, Eatable Zebra, Nick Riley, Integra Guy 041, not to be confused with Integra Guy 042. Just making sure you guys got that straight. Dan the Dane. Good to see you, sir. Hope things are going well for you. Are you trying out? Good to see you. Haven't seen you around before. Edward, Steven Cicero. Yes, I'm the first one that knew how to pronounce his name. Bad Ace, Daddy Chill, DJ Minds. I am hoping that you feel better soon. Are you saying I'm distorted? If you are saying I'm distorted, maybe I should turn down the mic a bit. Let me know if I'm distorted. Gordon Murray, max the troll voltage. I will take that as a compliment, sir. Thank you very much. And wow, I feel honored. DJ gave me a 22. Man, I just made my day. Okay, good night, everybody. All right, who else do we got here? Black Hat Team, Canadian Miner, Sox Fan 96, Diesel 846, Chump Change, and Alan Black, and I think that is it. All right, let me see what I might have missed. Does it sound okay, guys? Okay, Gordon Murray says it sounds good. Oh, just that song. Got it. Maybe I'll need to turn that down next time. I will probably do that. Alrighty, guys. Can you believe what the heck? Why is that like that? Hold on, wrong thing. I have no idea why that did that. So bear with me here a second while I fix that. A little bit smaller. There we go. Good for now. I can always switch to a different view, but for right now, we'll go with that. So Bitcoin, you know, it's not horrible. I mean, you look at it, it's only down 1% for the week. It's down 4% for the day. Not so bad. I mean, Ethereum lost 8%. Ouch. But if we look at all of these, it looks really bad, even on the weekly basis for some, like Solana lost 12%. But if we look to see where it was, not so bad. But here's where I find this all very interesting, is that obviously we all know the stock market took a hit. And I'm kind of curious to see, I wanted to look for an S&P 500 chart. Because, all right, we see what it was for the day, but let's look at the month. So you look at where it ended up. Yeah, it was a big hit for the day. But it's pretty much where it was back on March 15th. So not horrible. Just kind of trading sideways, but just with a lot more volatility. Yeah, not that bad. I don't know. Here's the thing, though. If we are in for some tough times in the stock market, for Bitcoin price, not saying for anything else, I'm just saying for Bitcoin price, it's not necessarily a bad thing that we get some reduction in a market crash in the stock market, because typically somewhat of a leading indicator of a recession is a stock market crash. If we get a recession, that means interest rates will come down. When interest rates come down, that's very good for Bitcoin. Has always been that way in the past. And it always seems like there's been a timing of, at least the last bull run, there was a timing of the recession with the Bitcoin halving, and that worked out really, really well. So I'm kind of curious to see how all this pans out. But it is really strange that we're a week away from the Bitcoin halving and we're seeing the Bitcoin price go down. That is a bit odd in my mind. What do you guys think? All right, let me catch up with the chat because I'm just here to hang out tonight. Let's see here. What have you guys been saying? Threatened war in the Middle East. Oh, okay. So you're saying that, and that's global tensions can do that. That's for sure. Yeah, it looks like all investment markets dropped at the same time. Something must be going on. Yeah, the threatened war in the Middle East certainly is. And obviously what's going on in Ukraine doesn't help either. But yeah, and I know that gold has been going up. So no chance at this point of Bitcoin catching gold, although it had a long way to get to there anyway. Alien Black, everyone expected a dip, then it dips now. Everyone freaks out. Yeah, I know. Everybody freaks out. But it is strange because everybody's expecting a dip, but everybody's expecting the dip after the halving, not before. That's what's a little odd. Nobody really expected that. Let's see what else we got here. Here, let me get back to the original screen because I don't like that look. There we go. Yeah, markets don't know what to do with the Fed rates getting cut, or getting delayed. So yeah, that's the big thing. Everybody's hoping for this quote unquote soft landing. Have you ever known? I certainly haven't ever in my lifetime known of a quote unquote soft landing. The problem is that the Fed needs to shock the market. I was actually talking to somebody who was like, oh my gosh, if you look to where things are, 3 years ago to where they are today, inflation's been high, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, hold on. First off, anybody who relates economy with the president drives me nuts because, and again, I'm not getting political. I'm saying I'm basically being unpolitical. So what happened in 2020? The market took a crash. Yes, we had a black swan event, but obviously Trump wasn't responsible for that. He also wasn't responsible for everything that came after, like the fact that money got spent willy-nilly. That was both parties. And honestly, that was Congress. That wasn't the president. And that's what caused all the inflation because we had the supply chain problems. And then with all this people flushing money because money was just being given away left and right. So now that's everything that's Biden's given. And sorry, that's just where we were and where we are. That's why the Fed needs to come in, get stricter in what they've been going on. So anyway, that wasn't the part I talked to this friend about. What I talked to this friend about was, let's look at the last time we were in really, really bad inflation and what had to happen. That was when basically Nixon forward into Jimmy Carter, the inflation was, and interest rates were, inflation was out of control. And so Volcker was the new Fed chairman. He came in and he had to do some very, very nasty things, which was raise interest rates to like 20% in order to get the economy under control. He was ridiculed back then. Now everybody looks back and goes, oh my God, he was a genius. Yeah, but at the time, nobody liked him. Nobody liked him because he hurt the economy really, really bad. That's why Jimmy Carter had a horrible economy as they were going to re-election in 1980, was because of what Volcker had done, even though what Volcker had done was the right thing to do. So Reagan actually benefited from a lot of the things that Volcker did. And Volcker worked for both, and I may be saying his name wrong, but he worked for both parties, both sets of presidents going throughout his career, even after he left from being the Fed chairman. But if you ever looking for an interesting read on somebody's life, Volcker is a very, very interesting. I think his memoirs came out in like 2018. I haven't read it, but I know enough about him that I'm sure it's a good read. So check that out. Alrighty, let's see. 306 Miner says, I got some ADA on sale today, below 50 cents. Hard to pass. I agree. There were a lot of things that were hard to pass up. I unfortunately didn't have time to look at the market until it was kind of already starting to come up a little bit. So Dave Hall, I know it's not Monday. I was just really confused. I lost track of my days. Sorry, Dave. And time, because I never go live at 7. So, anyway, but, yeah, there's a lot of things that are on sale today. No question. Now the question though, that I have in my mind is, do we wait for more blood in the streets? Do we think there's going to be more blood in the streets, or is now the time? I'm certainly going to leave a little bit of my powder dry, at least for Sunday. Sunday typically, not always, but typically has been the worst day of the week for crypto prices. Hasn't always been that way recently, but I'm going to leave some of my powder dry for Sunday and see where we are at that point. I definitely did some purchases today, though. Unfortunately, it was, like I said, early on in the day when the price decreases were more modest, more like around 8%, as opposed to like the 15 to 20 that we now see. But yeah, it'll all come back. I'm not worried about it. Let's see here. Swamp 7. Did your 8 by RTX 4090 machine get verified today? No, it did not. I actually just looked at that earlier. Let me look at it again. Let's see here. I would show you, but can't really do that. Let me do a refresh on the screen. Nope. Still unverified. Everything is still unverified except for that one verified rig. Now you're going to really make me mad, because now I'm going to look. And yep, sure enough, a bunch of stuff fell off as far as verified rigs. And then let's see, that was at about, let's see, there were about 3,300 verified versus 1,700 unverified. So then we go up 3,300 to, oh, are you kidding me? Oh, it's not that many. It's like, sorry, I was about ready to give the wrong count, but yeah, it's about 35, 36. So about 200 to 300 got verified today, GPUs. But no, mine was definitely not one of them. Definitely not one of them. I just think they hate me. I don't know why. I don't know what I ever did to them, but they just do not like me. It is interesting though. It does seem like percentage-wise, there are just as many verified rigs and unverified, about the same percentage that are rented versus unrented. But yeah, I unfortunately, with where things were, I had to lower my price way down, to get it rented. The 8 by, all my other stuff was rented. For some reason, I could not get that rig rented to save my life. I have no idea why. Let's see. Swamp 7. Oh, you already said that. And then Duke Nukem says, time to write your congressman. Yeah, I don't think that'll work. Now, interestingly enough, the reason why I want to write my congressman, and I actually did write my congressman, and then this is the best thing about writing your congressman, is you get a form letter back that didn't even address your original concern. So if any of you that are looking to send your children to college, I highly recommend do not fall into the Parent Plus government loan trap. I unfortunately did. And the rates are high, which is a big part of the problem. The other thing, though, is that you get no preferential treatment at all. So all this SAVE program, all those things are doing for the kids, parents, it's your problem. We get nothing. So here's the worst part. I basically decided to do like an income driven program, because paid my first son through college. My daughter didn't have enough saved, so we went into debt in order to get her through college. She's doing great, which is good. But anyway, so if I had known that there was a loophole, there was a double consolidation loophole. So in other words, if you had, say, 4 loans, one for each year, and you consolidated 2 of them together and then the other 2 of them together in like paper wise, like you just do it written, you fill out the forms, you send them in, and you do it that way. It then makes the loans look like they were never a Parent Plus loan. And then you do a consolidation after that, then you can qualify for the SAVE program, which is freaking amazing from a borrower's perspective. And unfortunately, they don't publicize that at all on their websites. I mean, they're calling it a loophole, but yet they still allow it, even though it's a loophole. Now, they are closing the loophole here shortly, but I got an idea. If you're going to allow the loophole for as long as you did, why don't you just allow the darn thing? Just allow and help people. Anyway, all right. So, yes, I'm going off on tangents. It's kind of what I do. By the way, Hawk is going live in about 55 minutes, and this will redirect to him. So stay here when the actual live stream ends, and you will go directly to Hawk. Do not pass go. Go directly to jail. So, Duke Nukem, it's your problem. Sounds like the VA. Yeah, my dad goes to the VA, so yeah, I hear where you're going with that one. We finally told my father that you can get VA insurance all you want. You're not going to those doctors anymore because we're not driving you. You don't want to go that far, and you don't get as good a care. So we kind of like having you around. So time to use your Medicare instead of VA. Kyle Rosa says, or wiped student debt instead of money print. Different, they wouldn't get rich. I'm not sure what your point is. If you're saying wipe the student debt, like you're agreeing with it or you're disagreeing with it. So, basically wipe student debt instead of printing money. And basically spend their money that way and not put more money into the economy, or put more money into the economy by wiping the student debt. I get it. Oh, Bot Life Gamer. I got to remember that. And I don't have one on. You're right. I don't. I can't even believe that. That's warm though. I mean, it's going to be a really warm weekend. All right. I'm just checking the chat, seeing what's up. Gold up 10% year to date. Yep, gold forecasts are up. It's usually what happens when people are concerned about what's going on in the market. That's where a lot of the money went today. Let's see. I don't know what that high, Gordon Murray. Interest rates to 30% right now. I mean, I think if interest rates went to 10%, that would be a big enough shock. I mean, our inflation is only a 3.5, but they want it, their target is 2. At least it was. It sounds like recently they were willing to go to just at 3 instead of going all the way down to 2. I mean, they needed to go lower because otherwise our debt's going to go like super high, which is why I think that they really need to raise interest rates temporarily. Well, raise it for as long as they need to in order to drive long-term interest rates down. Hello, Jean-Francois, aka JFA. Oh, right. Why did you take the last name out? Were we just all pronouncing it wrong? Is that why? DJ, but I know what you're thinking. I hear the VA isn't great, but it's cheap. Crypto Badell says, what did I miss? Besides almost a great time to buy, I feel. I think the great time to buy is still there. And a lot of things, I mean, Cardano's still down 14.4% today. Avalanche is down 15%. Let's see what else. Litecoin down 13%. Let me see. I don't know why that one got all messed up. Let me see. There we go. That's a better. I guess that's what I was, wasn't it? Yeah, I just made the other one look like it. Let me see. There we go. We'll go with that. Well, let's take a look to see where everything is. So Bitcoin is at under 67,000. I wanted to get to like 64, 63, 62. I got a bunch of buys set up there. So I'd love to see it get down that low. Ethereum down 8%. Again, if you start looking at these charts and you think, okay, it's down a lot, but when was it last here? So let's go to, hell, 7 days. Not quite 7 days, but let's look at 1 month. Yeah, I mean, back on, let's see. Right around my birthday, 3/20, we were actually below it. Let's see where it maybe was more steadily. I mean, yeah, you look at, let's see. We passed it in February. We're back where we were a month and a half ago. That's all. Nothing to worry about, folks. Nothing to worry about. Natural trading up and down, just in big swings right now. That's all. Let's see. What else do we got here? Let's take a look at some of my favorite. I do like Avalanche. I think this one's a really good buy where it is. Not financial advice. None of this financial advice, just sharing what I've been doing. All right. So see, it's come down quite a bit. Last time it was here. Well, last time it passed permanently to get past it. Let's see, was right about there. And that was December of last year. Actually, more like there when it passed it. Yeah, still December last year. Then you can say it came back down, wanted to repass it. That would be in March. So, or even maybe in February too. So, I don't know. I like this one. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, oops. I lost my chat. Let me bring my chat back. Oh, that's because I brought it over here. There we go. Oh, this is I wanted to bring a poll up. Let me bring up a poll. Start a poll. Have you completed your taxes, which are due on Monday? We're going to keep it simple, not make them fancy. Curious. See how many people have done it. This is actually... Jump Change says that, everybody's already done their taxes. I'm like, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. So I'm curious what you guys poll in there. I am not done. I finished both my kids and I finished my father's pretty much on Wednesday night. And I completed it on yesterday. Basically figure out how much he owed and then transferred the money and then finished it up yesterday with the payment. All right. Look, so DJ hasn't done his taxes yet. I'm doing mine this weekend. Well, I've been doing them. I just have a lot more to do. And I mean, what credit card company doesn't have like 18 months worth of statements? Freaking Synchrony. Drive me nuts. That's my Verizon card. Synchrony Bank. And they only do 12 months worth of bank statements. I suppose if I did my taxes in January, I wouldn't have this problem. I get that. But come on. If somebody's going to owe, they have a business. I mean, geez, why can't you provide an extra 6 months of tax returns? I mean, not tax returns, 6 months of statements. So now I've tried multiple ways to get copies of the statements. So what I'm most likely going to do is get it to the point where the government owes me money. Like I'm going to go through everything, go through all the income. And I've got a lot of deductions this year with the 4090s that I bought. So I'm going to go through all of that. And as long as I get to the point where the government owes me money, then I am just going to file an extension. Because at that point, it doesn't matter. I'll just get my money later, which is fine. I'm not going to get a ton back, I don't think. But we'll see. We'll see. Kind of depends. One of the things I have to figure out, I actually should search this and see, because I'm really curious. You can't have your home office deduction be lower. I can't lower you to a loss. You can only take it down to 0 just with that. What I'm wondering is what comes first. So let's say, for instance, I have a office deduction of say 10,000 or an office expense of 10,000. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just throwing out round numbers. But my income was 15,000, but I had 10,000 more of expenses for the business. So do they take the office off of it first, bringing it down to 5,000, and all the other stuff goes below it? I'm hoping that's the way it is, because I'll get more money back if that's the case. Otherwise, I'm going to end up carrying over the office. I think that's the way it works, because I've never run into a carryover on the office deduction. But like I said, I don't have all my income in yet. So Ted said that's so when people default, they can't track back and the bank can pad more into the lawsuit. It's been proven with them. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I wonder if you're behind. Maybe I just forgot what I was just talking about. One of the two. And DJ Mine says, if the IRS owes you, it won't matter much if you don't do it for a while. If you owe them, good night, you better file. Oh, agreed. What I did last year, because I did the same thing last year, and that's why I was like looking all over my, did I really do this last year and not think I better download the first 3 months? I swear I downloaded them, but I can't find the files anywhere. So last year, what I did was I estimated, or I basically put everything in except for the first 3 months. And because I knew it wouldn't be any worse, but it wasn't going to be that much different. But I did want the opportunity. I always feel like it's better to pay what you think you owe and then file later on, and make sure you pay for at least more than what you end up owing. Better than to do that and then file an amended return. Amended returns, from what I've heard, get a really deeper look. So I don't want to do an amended return. So that's why I'll do an extension and then finish the filing once I get the statements. So we'll see. Actually, not as big as you think, Swamp 7, because I looked at my audit risk last year and it wasn't much at all. My risk was low. It wasn't like in the super low range, but it was low. I don't have much in the way of mileage this year. But when I was obviously driving for Uber, I had a huge mileage deduction. And, your credit card statement. That's so when people default, they can't track back and the bank can pad more into the lawsuit. It's been proven with them. Huh. I was not aware of that. Well, that sucks. But yeah, I know home offices, but you know what? If you do it right, from what I've heard, it's not a problem. So yeah, if I'm claiming like 30% of my house, well, yeah, that's going to throw off some numbers, but as long as you're doing it very reasonably, I mean, I think mine's like 7% of my house or something. It's relatively small, in the space. So yeah, it certainly helps. Yeah, it definitely certainly helps. Let's see, where are we at with, 50-50 with 40 votes. So take that, chump change. And what I'd be really curious is how many people, I'm going to actually put this one. This will be for the people that say you have completed your taxes. I want to know when you completed your taxes. Did you complete your taxes like during this past week, or March or earlier? That's what I want to know. So we have how many people here? We got 81 people. Nice. How many likes we got? I see 31. Less than half of you? Come on, hit that like button. So let's see. About 45 minutes ago, Swap 7. So there we go. Early March, a week ago. So, okay, a week ago. It's complicated. Let's talk. Yeah, I mean, anybody who's doing crypto taxes, it's definitely complicated. People who have to wait to pay people who have to pay the IRS wait to the last week. People who get paid rush to file. Well, that's true to a certain extent. I mean, honestly, you can hurry up and file even if you owe money and just say you're going to pay and then schedule your payment for April 15th. I just think people who delay to file basically are just, procrastinating the inevitable, hoping that it just won't come around and they don't want to know what the number is. I'm actually right now, I'm pretty pleased with the number that I see. So yeah, I can't complain. I don't know if something's changed in the taxes this year, but there's some things that I know I didn't do perfectly last year. So the way that I did them this year was the correct way, and it's definitely helping me a bit. Tax talk with tax with Max. I like that. It wasn't my intention to talk taxes tonight, but I suppose that is kind of a thing. Always have to wait for corrected 1099s. That is the most annoying thing. Like, did you not know? Whoever sent out the 1099s, did you not know what the actual amount that they sent you? I don't know. It's just, that bugs me. I've had that too. Like, what the heck? I owe just like things done. Yeah, I mean, especially if you got the money and you're kind of like, well, I don't want to see this amount in my account right now because I want to know that it's gone and taken care of. So I kind of get that. It's kind of like paying off a 2.5% mortgage. People don't like debt, so they pay off a 2.5% mortgage when 9.5 times out of 10, you can probably find a better use to that money and making more money with it than 2.5%. Worrying about paying off. I don't know. That's where I'm at with my mortgage. I got 2.75% mortgage, and yeah, I'm not paying that off. Not moving anytime soon, unless I get some like incredible job offer. Yep. Tube and Jar, welcome. End of February, got my return already. Yep. DJ Mines, no way I'd pay off a 2.5 interest off. Keep that as long as possible. Yeah, I'm not at 2.5. I'm at 2.75. But yeah, I'm not paying that off at all. The funniest thing is getting these mortgage offers in the mail, and they actually do the calculation correctly. They don't have any filter to say, don't send this proposal to anyone where we're not going to save them money. It literally says, yeah, and look at how much money you save. And it says negative amount of money. I'm like, what? It is nuts. And I get those. I haven't got one of those recently, but I mean, I've probably get like 3 of them a year like that. It's crazy. Let's see. Under 2%. Nice, Diesel. Nice. Yeah, I was just happy to. I'd gotten under 3, and then wanted to pay off some debt, and value of the house had gone up, so decided that I would increase my loan amount just a little bit. And actually, it wasn't even considered a cash out because you have an escrow account, and you got to fund that, and then get the other one back. So you just like roll that into there, and so it's not considered cash out when you do that. And that was about the amount that I needed to pay off this other debt. So it worked. Yes, doing taxes sucks, but I don't know. It's somehow rewarding in a way. Here's my thing about taxes, and this is what always gets me. The battle with taxes isn't doing them. The battle with taxes is collecting all the information. So if you go to somebody to have them do your taxes, you've still done the worst part, which is collecting all the data. You know, you can't just like hand them your credit card bill and go, here you go, unless you have a business only credit card, which kind of thinking maybe I'll do that just because I'm tired of weeding through them all. But if you, yeah, I suppose if you do that and say, hey, all of this was used for business. So, yeah. Hey, I got a question. Anybody who's a YouTuber out there, I was actually looking at getting a DJ Osmo Pocket 3 and was thinking about getting it for Sunflower Mama, and I would use it too. And I was this close to purchasing it and then decided against it when I read somebody talking about the positive and negatives. And the negative was that there's no focal length difference. It's fixed focal length, which means everything is blurred in the background at all times. That doesn't work with what Sunflower Mama does. She's out in the yard. So she got the camera, you know, looking at what she's doing. And I thought, well, cool. You get the creator package with it, which comes with a wireless microphone. I was like, that would be cool. She can do things in the yard, talking to the camera. It does live streams from the camera. It's got a setup to do that. But then I was like, well, that doesn't work because it's not going to, you know, have this like more broad look. So anyway, so now I'm back to kind of square one, figuring out what next camera. I mean, I'm going to continue using this one unless I give this one to Sunflower Mama, because this may be the best one for her to use for the yard. But I don't know. Still trying to figure that out. DJ Mines, do I claim my house for mining? It's not in an LLC, but I do claim a portion of my house as a home office because it is dedicated space. It is not used for anything else. I don't claim, like, I've got the entire basement, basically, well, not the entire basement, but about a third of the basement is used only for mining, but doesn't mean that the mining equipment is in that whole space. What I'm saying is where the mining equipment is here, and then the air tunnel is kind of everything else. So I'm not claiming all that other space, and that other space does get used for things like, I mean, I'll tell you what, the best thing about having mining in your basement is you don't even need to use your dryer. Just hang things up down there. It dries like that. So that's pretty amazing. But no, I just claim the space that is used only for mining, and that's it. But I mean, it's considerable. I did read something recently because a lot of people were like, oh, if you're using that room, quote unquote room, for more than one thing, you can't claim it. And it's like, no, it's not about the room. It's about the space. So if you have dedicated space, figure out how much space you use, then you can do that. Again, I am not a tax accountant. I'm talking about things that I have read. It's not tax advice. So do your own research. But that is what I have found. Let's see. Because I do that for YouTube. I need to figure out how to claim mining as a space and power. Power can be a little trickier. But again, I try to get to, so basically what I do is I look back at what my power bills were, or my usage of power was back when I wasn't mining. And I look at that average. And it was consistent year after year. There was no difference. It was always the same. Might vary from month to month, but overall was within 100 kilowatts. I mean, it was amazing how consistent it was. So now what I do is I say, okay, fine. I'm going to take that, which by the way, was when I still had 2 kids in the house. So it's probably even saying it's a little bit higher than what it should be. So I take that amount and I take what it is now and I take the difference, and that's what I claim. So that's the way I do it. I have a meter on the 240 volt circuit, so I can use that amount as well. But I've looked at it and I'm like, okay, this plus this plus this, that's running 100% of the time. Does this all make sense? Yes, it all makes sense. So that's what I do. You guys can ask other questions besides tax questions. Other people are like, oh my God, who wants to hear about taxes? I'm done with my taxes. I don't want to hear. 50% of you could care less about this conversation. Yeah, I can teach you how to do the electric part later. For you, it's a little bit trickier because you started mining right as you got there. So you don't have that history to say, well, this is how much I'd be using otherwise. But if you have a time period when you were mining and what the power was that was being drawn, and like I said, time period over and how much was being drawn, easily we can calculate that. It's not hard. Alrighty, let's see. I just got half an hour to go. Make the camera larger so we see your pretty face instead of Google. Oh, got it. I will do that. Let's see. There we go. Oh, Google. I didn't even know something. I was going to do a search and then I forgot. Let's see what else we got here. And you guys can follow along on your own. But I mean, Polkadot, which is one I really like. I think that one's going to do well. That one's down 14% today. And honestly, everything was down 15 to 20%. And now everything's kind of come back to me more like around 10 to 15%. So yeah, I don't know. Did we just get a little bit of a dead cat bounce and it's going to head further south, or was this the bottom and we're going to start heading up from here? I don't know. I could see if I had to take a guess on what we're going to see. I said I was going to wait for Sunday. I'm not sure if that's a wise move, but I think we're going to go higher before we get to the halving, which is slated for next Friday. And if that's the case, then afterwards, I think we're going to get a sell the news event and we'll lose maybe 10%, maybe 15, not as much as we've had in the past, but let me end that poll. Alrighty. But see, I told you chump change. 50% of the people in this poll haven't completed their taxes. See? Told you. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, actually, you know what? I wanted to see where Flux was. Did Flux get under $1? I bet it did. That's one I don't want to see go down. Yep. 97 cents. Wah, wah, wah. But again, the percentage is about what everything else was. So look at that. Oh, man, could have gotten it down at 89. What time was that at? 145. God. Wasn't even doing that much around 145. Could have gotten in. Could have gotten in. All right. And what else do you guys want to look at? What other quotes do you want to look at? Like, what are you guys looking at? What are you guys mining? What are you guys buying? What do you think is the best buy? Oh, and while you guys are doing that, let me pull up my favorite chart. Although I do need to update it. Let me see, because it was worse before. And I will hurt your retinas, so be prepared. Let's see. And then And I don't know why, but my auto update doesn't work anymore on this spreadsheet, unfortunately. Retro Mike Tech, thanks for the super chat. Much appreciated. Completed. I haven't even started. That's what Sunday night is for. Love it. Yeah, I tried not to do that, to like completely stress myself out. But all right, let me share my favorite. There we go. Yep. LTC has twice the gain of Caspa. Facts. Just what the data shows. What it also shows is that me and DJ were wrong. The best thing to have gone in overall would have been Bitcoin. Bitcoin's beating them both. Gordon Murray, 7.62 and 5.56. Oh, wait a minute. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, it's obviously ammo. A mining king. Am I still doing your taxes? No. No, you never mix business with taxes. Like somebody else's business with taxes. Okay, thanks. No thanks. No thanks. If you want to be late, that's fine. I can charge you what my dad pays me. Because my dad basically was paying somebody. How I ended up doing my dad's taxes was he was paying an accountant what I consider an exorbitant amount of money. He was paying somebody $500 to do his taxes. I was like, and I looked at his taxes. He was doing them wrong. That's what really pissed me off. I'm like, he's doing a standard deduction. He's doing nothing for you. Standard deduction. That's it. He's not taking any of your continuing care, retirement, community deductions at all. Nothing. Like, oh my God. And he's like, well, fine, I'll pay you what I paid him. Like, okay, twist my arm. And it's a little difficult because you got to gather the information and such, but his are relatively easy. I'm definitely not complaining. Mining King says, I filed an extension. I don't mind paying as long as I don't have to do it. Wait a minute. Are you going to owe money, Mining King? If you are, filing an extension without at least did you make a payment with the extension? Oh, one thing I learned last year was, as I was like, how do I file an extension? Because I hadn't done one before, at least not this way. And if you pay, I don't know if you pay directly on April 15th or around April 15th, it's an automatic extension. No, I shouldn't say automatic. There's a way that you can go in and make the payment and saying you're filing an extension with your payment. Something to that effect. Because I did it last year. It's been a year since I did it. But that was pretty cool. So I didn't even have to file an extension through my tax software. So that was cool. Let's see. Mining King says, I make payments quarterly, self-employment. Well, I know it's self-employment. And yes, my dad could be making quarterly payments and not paying a penalty. But honestly, the federal government penalty is so minimal. The interest rate on it is ridiculously low. The only one that can be bad is the state. I think last year I paid my dad's taxes according to the tax software, but then they came back and said, nope, you have a greater penalty with the state. So, but this year he didn't owe much, so he shouldn't get a penalty with the state. So that's, he only gets that if he makes like a ton of money through his investment account. And he doesn't generally have that happen. It's just like dividends and stuff. Let's see. So Mining King says, so that means you will do them if I pay? No. We'll talk later. Like I said, my price is really high because my time is worth a lot. I'm sure you don't want me to do them. You could do them a lot cheaper at H&R Block and it'd probably be fine. But anyway. And then I'd probably have to learn a whole bunch of new things because, like I said, the things that I'm doing, I don't know if they're the same things that you're doing. So, yeah. But right now I do have like my YouTube income, my vast income. That was actually pretty interesting. So I got my PayPal 1099 and I was like, okay, I get all this. This is all vast. What the hell is this? And then I realized it was an affiliate payment. So I thought it was kind of cool that if you get things paid out via PayPal, you get a consolidated 1099 from your various income sources. So that's pretty cool. I'm not getting paid out via PayPal anymore for Vast though. So I'm curious to see how that works this year. So we'll see. Good evening, Automatic Beats. Good to see you. Oh God, H&R Block. Yes. Well, I mean, have you ever met, like, does anybody have friends that do taxes around tax time? And I'm not talking about business taxes. I'm not talking about accountants that actually do taxes right. I'm talking about, do you know somebody that works at H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or anything like that? I did know somebody, and either they were crooks by doing they were just looking to try to get somebody the greatest return, but do it not following the rules, or they were just lazy as fuck. And they just basically did the minimum, which is, like I said, my dad had an accountant doing his and he did them lazy as fuck. So go figure. Max in our block. You're funny. Ted says you have to think of it this way: the more you make Max do outside of work, more work you have to do as he's doing your taxes. Well, that's true. Good point. Although last night, and I got to check it again tonight because I heard that there was also another update, and I heard that they may have done the same thing as before by turning off the Octofan setting. So I have to go back in, but that's what I did last night, is went through everybody's rig and made sure that the Octofan setting was on, set to auto on. All of these rigs were at 100% Octofans. And for anybody that knows, 100% Octofans, it makes a difference. They are pulling a lot of power. So getting them down to 70% or lower is important, as long as it doesn't get too hot. So anyway, I will go back through that again tonight. At least do a smattering of tests to see if they are off again. If so, then I'll take an hour and a half to 2 hours to do it again tonight while watching Hawk stream. I'll probably end up doing that. So all right, I'm done taunting DJ with this, so I will take that down. What's interesting is the fear and greed index, according to this, is still 75. How is the fear and greed index still at 75 with the big hit that we took today? I don't know. Go figure. Yeah, King, you're a slave driver. Yes, he is. Absolutely. No, he's not. Get more work equals work harder. That is correct. That is definitely correct. Everywhere where I've worked. And the funny thing about, you can be accomplishing so much stuff because they've given you so much work to do. But if you are in a position where you have to not do certain things because you have too much on your plate, everybody knows what you didn't do, and that's what you're judged on. And that drives me nuts. Right now at work, I'm busy. Not saying I'm not busy. I'm definitely busy, but I'm able to get everything done that needs to get done, and people are noticing. And they're like, "Oh man, he's come a long way." I'm like, "No, I now have an appropriate amount of work so that I can get my work done." But I don't know. It's perception. I get it. I try to focus on what the customer needs are, as opposed to what my boss or my boss's boss is saying that he needs. I'd rather please the customer than please my boss, while other people would rather please their boss than please the customer. So that's just that's where my compass goes, I guess. And you give me 10 tasks to do, I'm going to make sure that the customer's taken care of and that we're not late and that we don't get charged attention and all these other things that affect the customer and affect our company from a financial perspective. But if I miss doing a report or whatever because I was busy doing something else, yeah. Anyway, just my 2 cents. No employee of the month. Well, I knew it couldn't last forever. I mean, how many times have I run one in a row? Then six times, 5 times, something like that. All right. Watch when all the Timbies figure it out. Every day is a good day to buy BTC. And that's not wrong. I mean, DCAing is a great way to go. Dollar cost averaging. Yeah, I know. Always get an hour rate. They will never overwork you for free. So I'm going to throw a previous company. I'm not going to say who it was, but I'm going to throw a previous company that I used to work for under the bus. So we had a bunch of, I don't remember what their title was. I was an operations manager. I think they were operations supervisors. Okay. They did a lot, but they made under a certain threshold. But they were salaried. And well, I should say made over a certain threshold and they were salaried. So the company wasn't required to pay them overtime. So then the government raised that threshold so that they would have to start paying them overtime. So what do you think the company did? They came in and said, you know what? You guys have been doing such a great job. We're going to promote you to operations managers and we're going to give you a 10% raise. You know what the 10% raise did for them? Put them just over that threshold. What a pile of crap, because we were doing easily 20 to 30 hours overtime a week. It's just so wrong. But hey, that's corporate America. Let's see what kind of way we can twist things. All right. That's after being in corporate America for 30 years. It doesn't matter. My first job, I did an exit interview. They asked me questions. I gave them answers. I was really nice about it. I was professional about it. But one of those answers, the guy didn't like. He got mad, even though it was the right answer. And he admitted it was the right answer, but he didn't like it. Didn't like some snotty, 30-year-old telling him, 45-year-old, telling him that he was doing it wrong. And that's the way he viewed it. And so when time came and somebody was recommending me for a job at a different company, and he was at that company, he blackballed me. I didn't burn a bridge. He burned the bridge. I wasn't trying to burn a bridge. Anyway, I could go on and on about how I was screwed at every single company I ever worked for. Well, I shouldn't say every company. The first two, the third one, no. The fourth one, yes. The fifth one, yes. The sixth one, yes. And then I was a contractor for a while. But yeah, out of the first 6 companies I worked for, 5 of them screwed me in one way or another. Got stories about each one. Yeah. Good times. Hopefully you guys have a better track record than that. And when I say screwed, that doesn't mean they all fired me. It was just that when I left, something about the way that they viewed the way I left, they didn't like it. Yes, exactly. People can't handle the truth. I'm sorry. I'm direct. I'm nice about it, but I'm direct. You ask me a question, don't get mad. I won't get mad at you asking me a question. I'll tell you if I don't want to answer it. By the way, that's one thing I learned from that. Don't ever give an exit interview. They have everything to gain out of it. You have nothing to gain. Nothing to gain from it. The only thing you can gain from that is answering something that they didn't like. And now, instead of being a possible rehire, they just mark you down as never to rehire. And of course, who you were talking to, and they go to work for a different company, they'll never hire you either. It doesn't make any sense. Exit interviews are stupid, are absolutely stupid. because nobody takes the answers that they get their secret seriously. There's no way that they're like, oh gosh, this person left because of this. This person left because of this. We're going to take those answers seriously and actually enact change. No, that's not the way it works. They're like, oh yeah, what an idiot that guy was. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's see. I always get overworked and screwed over because I'm the go-to guy. Oh yeah, I get that a lot. Have to fix everyone else's mess ups. You know, yes, I've had to do that a lot too. Thankfully right now, the crew I have working for me, are really, really good. And they are very proactive. I get involved, but usually by the time I get involved, they're like 60% to fixing the problem. They just have a few things they need help with. That's it. So it's a very, very proactive bunch. The only thing I have to do is kind of, when they make mistakes, I need to get them back on track. We had people not following standard operating procedure this week that they should have been. They all were reprimanded for it. Like, what were you doing? There's a reason why these operating, but again, people get complacent. They think, oh, well, okay, this is explainable. Well, it is explainable, but you were wrong. And if you followed the standard operating procedure, the mistake wouldn't have been made. So things like that I need to get involved with. But like I said, very, 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 very happy with the crew I have working for me. They're very, very good. So, yep, lucky as far as that goes. Let's see, BC, all the companies I work for got bought out. So I always got stock and other options each time. Nice. Well, that's good. I wish I had been that lucky. I did have, when I worked for Tellabs, I did have stock options that were worth a lot of money, but they hadn't invested yet. By the time they vested, they were worthless. So that was unfortunate. But hey, they brought in Dick Notebart, the guy who ran Ameritech, because he ran it into the ground. So we're going to hire him to cut heads and make it financially better. And all we're going to do is create a really lousy work environment and where everybody is worried about the next guy cutting their head off. Yeah, that's a great environment. Yeah, I don't know what the old, Mike Burke, what he was thinking when he hired him. Mike Burke was a great CEO though. He was one of the guys, talk to anybody. He was the one that basically forced hey, we need to do stock options for all the employees, every single employee. So let's see. TJ Mine, sadly, I'm the boss now. If they fall, it's my fault, even though it's not. Yeah, the buck stops with whoever's managing the people. I understand that. The thing that gets me though is, so when I start to see things fail, I take control. That's what I do. I'm an action-oriented person, and I have been told that's the wrong thing to do. You need to let them fail. Okay, great. I'm going to let them fail, and I'm going to explain to my boss that, well, so-and-so, he had to learn. He had to fail. Do you really think that's going to be a good explanation? Even though that's what HR will tell you. No. So, yeah, when I start to see things go south, like I said, I tend to take control, and then I explain why I did what I did so that they can then hopefully take that and use that the next time we come across it. Like I said, that I haven't had to do for quite a while, but there's certain things like, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was, but somebody was like, I sent emails, and I'm like, stop with all the emails. Sometimes you got to pick the phone up. I'm like, you know what? What's the phone number? Well, I already tried. Let me call. And within 10 minutes, I had it resolved. I'm like, yeah, you got to be a little creative. Yeah, they're going to say, well, that person's not here. Okay, great. So who do I need to talk to? So anyway, try to lead by example. Let's see. My commander always tells me that let them fail, but if we fail, I'm in the poop. Yeah, exactly. Hang on a second. I think Sunflower Mom was tired of hearing my voice already. She's like, aren't your time up yet? No, I still got 6 minutes. 6 minutes. But yeah, so DJ, yeah, I can certainly understand that. That's no difference between public and private life, private work life. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, 10 minutes to midnight, solve it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I feel like, you know, we're there for a reason, you know, obviously help guide them, make sure people are doing the right things, all that kind of stuff. But when something isn't going right, yeah, sometimes you got to step in. All right, guys. Well, let me ask. I'm going to do one more poll before we leave. And the question is, are you buying right now, or are you waiting for the market to go lower? Buying, waiting. All right. Let me know what you guys think. 92 people here. Wow. Thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate it. Very, very much appreciate it. Let's see. How many likes we got? 52. You know what I say, you know, come on, or else, no, just kidding. Yeah, I'm mining Pyron right now. And that was actually one of the good things. At least I was mining a bunch of Pyron because I had 8 4090s on it. So I was mining quite a bit. So I'm right now, as I mentioned before, I'm mining Pyron and selling and then buying it in Neoxa. And so I've up to, what was I up to? Hold on, let me look. I just had it up a little over 380,000 Neoxa right now. So I'm trying to get up to that million so I can do a flux, not a flux node, but a Neoxa smart node or master node. And I'm kind of debating. I might not do one here. I might just do one on Flux, because you can do one on Flux. The interesting thing about doing one on Flux, if you had enough for 3 master nodes, you could do them for the price of 1. So basically, if you pay for 1, you've paid for 3. So yeah, that would be pretty cool. Same thing. It's similar to like a pre-search node. When you pay for 1 pre-search node, well, then you've paid for 3. You can do 3 for the same price as 1, or 2 for the same price as 1, just the way it works. Let's see. All right, come on, poll. Buying 32%, waiting 68%. Interesting. Whoa, wait. It's not over yet. 31 votes. Lots more people to vote, I guess. Yeah, Neoxa is a great buy right now. It is taking a beating even before this. It's down to like 0.0021 or 0.21 cents. So now it basically is like $2,100 worth of Neoxa in order to do a master node. It hasn't been that low for quite a while. So I'm trying to figure out like what I might want to sell, but obviously everything's taken a hit. So I really don't want to sell anything. I'm thinking about maybe just finding some extra cash and putting it into the market. I got to figure out the best way to do that. Wait, what? The kids come to use from basic training, out of shape and overweight, LOL, and tell us fix them. Can't pass a dang PT test. Yeah, I never understood that. I mean, why would you want to make basic training like completely miserable? Why? Like, get in shape before you go there. I mean, I guess it kind of goes back when football players used to do that. Football players, when they were in the off season, they did whatever the hell they wanted, and then they would come into preseason. I would say spring training, but that's baseball. But they would come into the preseason, into their training camps, and they would be completely out of shape. And basically the training camps were to get them into shape. And I'm like, that's not the way it is anymore, thank God. Yeah, I never understood that. Never understood that. When I was in high school and we played basketball, I never understood when people would come into basketball season. Hell, they'd come into tryouts out of shape. Like, okay, you can't look good if you're out of shape. If you're running up and down the court twice and you can't catch your breath, not going to really show the coach that you can play. So I don't know. That just always seemed odd to me. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of players were like 3-sport players, because they would come into each season in shape. And then they would usually have something that they would do in the summer that was sports related. Yeah, USDT stash is good for opportunities like this. Yeah, I do have a bit of USD and USDT stashed, although I have been investing along the way, wishing I had waited now, but hindsight's 2020. I did dollar cost average, so like my average price for Bitcoin is below 70. So that's good. DJ Mine says, apparently drill sergeants can't yell like they used to. Got to be, are you serious? So everything's been like mellowed even in the military? They're having to adapt to the technology kids. No, the technology kids need to be like, snap out of it. That's crazy. That's crazy. I can't imagine though, officer training. If anybody goes straight into like an officer school, that they hopefully do not get, coddled. Yeah, soon all of our soldiers will be behind computers. Well, not really wrong there. Certainly with the drone, and there's a lot of demand for drone pilots now. Do lots of different things with that. That's for sure. I was actually, I don't know if you guys knew, I was actually recruited to the Air Force Academy for basketball. And I'm colorblind, so I couldn't be a pilot. And normally that would be a disqualifying thing going into the Air Force Academy of all academies. But because they were recruiting me for basketball, they were willing to look the other way on that. But at the same time, couldn't be a pilot. So coming into the Air Force Academy, not being able to be a pilot, I was kind of like, back then that would not have been a good thing. And then I spoke to some people and they told me about what they did between each of the summers. And the interesting part about it is each summer became less physical, but more mental. So like the first, your preseason, your summer before your freshman year, you did training. So basically your boot camp. And then after freshman year, you did something. I'm trying to remember. I forget what was after freshman year, but after sophomore year, I believe it was survival training. So you're basically sent out to the wilderness for 6 weeks with very little in the way of resources. And then I believe it was after your junior year, they did survival prisoner of war camp training. So it was very mental. It wasn't, they couldn't really do anything much in the way of physical, at least not permanent damage. Obviously they could give you like electrical shocks that are uncomfortable, but wouldn't kill you. So it's obviously not AC, it's going to be DC and things like that. But yeah, that people like went nuts. That was like really, really hard. Although I don't suppose it was much different than Hell Week for the fraternity though. That was hard too. Hence the reason why they call it that. All right. Well, I am over time. It is time for Hawk. Is Hawk live yet? Let me see if Hawk is live yet. I'm guessing he is. Well, he's got his countdown on right now. I bet. Yeah, 3 minutes on his countdown. So by the time this thing goes out, you'll be sent over there. So I appreciate you guys all being here. Very much appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow night on Misfit Mining Saturday Night Live. And then I will see you again on Monday, if everybody's available. Can you guys all be there? I'll see you guys on Monday with Mondays with Max. All right, guys. But again, I forget whoever did it. Thank you for the suggestion of Flannel Fridays. I'm going to remember that. Instead of, what did I say? Deep breaths with Max. By the way, that was a play on words. Deep thoughts with Jack Handy. If anybody remembers that from Saturday Night Live. Alrighty, guys. Thanks again. We will see you guys later. Have a good one. General is out. Good night, everybody.